All righty. If you will, please stand if you're able.
Wish I could.
I tell you how has the weather been the last few days?
30.
I tell you what, it has been fantastic, and you could tell it too. I mean, people on the beach. I hadn't been swimming yet. I'm not sure if that water's warmed up enough for me yet or not, but the grand youngins has just dove in it. But I think they can take a little more than I can. But anyway, we have had some beautiful weather lately, and we appreciate that. We thank the good Lord for all the beautiful weather and look for a wonderful summer just like that. Everybody, we had the business meeting Monday, and I think everybody is really looking forward to this year. And I mean, we got off to a great start over the holiday. Easter was above average for a lot of the businesses, and it was good the week before and the week after, especially with the spring break people. So anyway, we got a lot to be thankful for, and at this time, I want to ask Buddy to talk to the Lord.
Let's bow our heads. Our Father, we're truly thankful to be able to gather and conduct town business. We're thankful for all the many blessings you've brought into our lives. We ask you to be with us tonight as we conduct the town business. Guide our hands, guide our minds. Let us do what's best and righteous for the town of Surf City. We ask this in your most precious name. Amen.
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 And ask Councilman Don Helms if he'll lead us in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And you may be seated.
Just me. That's all right.
Okay, I'll go through these mayor's remarks. We may have some people new here tonight, and we ask that all attendants please set their cell phones to silent or vibrate mode. The council offers the public an opportunity to speak during the meeting. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes each and must be directly issue-oriented with agenda items from this meeting and or an issue upon which the council has control. Citizen speakers will be acknowledged in order in which they signed up to speak and will address all comments to the board as a whole, not one individual council member. Speakers will address the council from the speaker's podium at the front of the room and will begin their remarks by stating their name and address. Discussion between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed. Public comment is not intended to require council to answer any impromptu questions. Speakers are expected to be civil in their language and presentation. Any comments here where the primary purpose is for promotion of business or candidacy shall not be allowed. In accordance with the council's adopted rules of procedure, council members shall reserve responses, if any, the council forum on the agenda. We do allow each councilman to speak at the end of the toward the end of the meeting, so if they have something that they want to respond to, then they can do it at that time. All right, do I hear an adoption of the agenda at this time? If y'all raise your hand if you approve your motion.
Second.
Second. All approved, raise your hand. All approved. Unanimous. Okay, at this time, we have some proclamations that we would like to give out, and we've got several of them tonight. The first one is National Tourism and Travel Week, and I'll ask Alan Libby if he'll come forward. He's with our tourism department. Okay, whereas, you can stand right there. All right. Whereas travel has a positive effect in North Carolina, the nation's economic prosperity and image abroad. It also impacts businesses' productivity to individual travelers' well-being. Whereas travel to and within the United States provides significant economic benefits for the nation, generating more than $2.4 trillion in economic output in 2017. with nearly $1 trillion spent directly by travelers. Whereas travel is among the largest private sector employees of the United States, supporting 15.6 million jobs in 2017, including 8.8 million directly to the travel industry and 6.8 million to other industries. Whereas travelers spending directly generate tax revenues of $164.8 billion for the federal, state, and local governments, funds used to support essential services and programs. Whereas travelers to North Carolina in 2017 spent $97.05 million in Pender County. That's not bad for Pender County. Whereas international travel in the United States is the nation's #1 services export and #2 overall. Whereas meetings, events, and incentive travels are core business functions that help companies strengthen business performance, educate employees and customers, and reward business accomplishment, which in turn boosts the U.S. economy. In 2017, domestic and international business travelers spent $317.2 million, whereas leisure travel, which accounts for more than 3/4 of all the trips taken in the United States, spurs countless benefits to travelers' health, wellness, creativity, culture, awareness, education, happiness, productivity, and relationships. Whereas travel is a pillar of economic growth, creating jobs as fast as there are other sectors, as fast in other sectors. Whereas welcome visitors from near and far always has been and always will be the enduring ethos of the travel industry and the town of Surf City. Now therefore I, Douglas C. Medlin, Mayor of hereby proclaim May the 5th through the 11th, 2019 as National Travel and Tourism Week in the town of Surf City, and urge citizens of the town of Surf City, North Carolina to join me in a special recognition at appropriate events and commemorations. Signed by our town clerk, Stephanie Hobbs, and one of our board members.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Next, Miss Stephanie, would you join us? The clerk, as anybody that knows anything about town business and what goes on, the clerk is the woman that sort of in the middle. She deals an awful lot with employees, but awful lot, and then with the citizens as well. And she has done a great job of it in this. How many years you been here?
12 or 13.
12 or 13, okay.
Just a little
We
bit.
lose count after a while, don't we? But anyway, I'll read this. Whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. Whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, not that she is now, I didn't say that. And whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between citizens and the local governing bodies and agencies of the government on other levels. And whereas the municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutral and impartial rendering equal service to all. Whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas the municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs and of the Office of Municipal Clerk through participation in the education programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their state, Providence County, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishment of the Office of Municipal Clerk. Municipal Clerk Week, now therefore I, Douglas C. Medlin, Mayor of the town of Surf City, do recognize the week of May the 5th through May the 11th, 2019 as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Stephanie Edwards Hobbs, and to all municipal clerks the vital services they perform and their extraordinary dedication to the communities they represent. And whereas and whereof I hereby set my hand and affix the seal of the town of Surf City this 7th day of May in the year of 2019. And signed by me
Thank you very
and
much.
presented to her.
I appreciate that. Thank you all very much.
along with the family.
Thank you very much. Very good. Thank you all.
Ron Shanahan, you got anybody else with you? Oh, God, in Burgaw. Uh-oh. Somebody is unfortunate if he's got an officer in Burgaw. Now, I haven't got any more flowers hid under the table here. I'm going to try to make it through all these proclamations. Okay. Whereas National Police Week was established in 1962 by President John F. Kennedy, along with a joint resolution of Congress to pay special tribute to those law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for safety and protection of others. Whereas there are approximately 9,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including 21 sworn members in the town of Surf City Police Department, who work devotedly and selfishly on behalf of the citizens of the town of Surf City, regardless of the peril or hazard to themselves. Whereas some 60,000 assaults against law enforcement officers are reported each year, resulting in approximately 16,000 injuries. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, more than 21,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made an ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. Whereas the names of 21,541 of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls on the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, which was dedicated in 1991 in Washington, D.C., and whereas 360 new names of the fallen heroes are being added. We'll wait for him to get up here. He just got back from Burgaw. Okay. Been in service. Okay, I'll start again. Whereas 360 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 129 officers killed in 2017 and 231 officers who died in previous years, whose stories of sacrifice had been lost in history until now. Whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored, and their names of officers newly engraved in the memorial will be formally dedicated during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 31st Annual Candlelight Vigil, which will be held on the eve of May the 15th. And whereas May the 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of fallen officers and their families. Now, therefore, I, Douglas C. Medlin, Mayor of the town of Surf City, North Carolina, on behalf of the Surf City Town Council, hereby proclaim May the 5th, 11th through the 17th, 2019 as National Police Week 2019. In the town of Surf City, publicly salute the service of the many officers in our community and in the communities across the nation. Properly signed by our town clerk, Stephanie Hobbs, and one of our board members as well. And I thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, and at this time, if I can have Mr. Ron Tillman and Mike Kramer to come forward, please. Okay. Well, you see these gentlemen, you can tell what they do. They perform a lot of work for us. I know they set up like down at the boat ramp, and then they do inspections. And these inspections, if your extinguisher's out of date or your flares are not good, they'll tell you and not write it down on a ticket. So it's well worth letting them check your boat when you see them. They do a great job of that, don't they?
Yeah, they're their friends.
Yep, they're our friends. So this is for Boat Safety Week. Now, whereas National Safe Boating Week is May 18th through the 24th, 2019, there are 300,000 registered boats in North Carolina, and whereas North Carolina has 5,000 miles of water shoreline for boating and fishing, with boating being one of the state's most popular activities. And whereas drowning in the reported case of death in 75% of boating accidents, with 6.6% of those accidents occurring last year alone. Whereas were 20 boating deaths last year in North, I think that's so. With 6.6% of those accidents occurring last year alone, whereas 20 boating deaths that was 6.6%, right? Okay, whereas a significant number of boaters who lost their lives by drowning each year would be alive today if they did just like Ron is doing and wore their life jacket. And whereas in both desirable and necessary to remind all boaters of their responsibility, the constant need for boat safety practices. Now therefore be it proclaimed in the Surf City Town Council hereby supports National Campaign of Safe Boating Council to promote National Safe Boating Week. Also supports the Cape Fear Sail and Power Squadron, which is a major provider of boating safety and training in our area. National Safe Boating Week, and witness, therefore, I attest my hand and seal, and Stephanie Hobbs, our town clerk, has signed it this day, the 7th day of May. And there you go, gentlemen, and I appreciate your work. Thank you a lot, and we appreciate you. And remind everybody the age that they have to wear their life jackets.
Well, if it's 13, anybody under 13 in a boat underway must have on a life jacket, unless they're below cabin. So that's pretty well covers the children. Everybody else, if you're underway, it's always a good idea to wear your life jacket. These new inflatable life jackets are really a lot more comfortable, they're cooler, and they work good. So if anything goes wrong, then you're good to go. Thanks a lot for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And we read out all those numbers on tourism earlier, and I remember the fact that that time I was president of the Chamber of Commerce, and we fought the state to get tourism recognized as an industry. And this was in the 70s, and tourism was not even recognized as an industry, as much money as it brought in. So through all the Chamber of Commerce is fighting for it, we finally got tourism recognized as an industry, and it is a big one this day and time. Okay, next we have the consent agenda.
We've done that.
Huh?
We've done the consent.
No, we hadn't done this one yet. Consent agenda?
Yeah, we did that. We hadn't done this?
No, I hadn't done consent agenda. Okay, I started to say, I just got through the proclamation. Okay, now approval of the consent agenda. Do we?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'd like to pull off the, for discussion very quickly, the personal policy, social media section, please.
Okay, do I have a motion, do I have a second to pull that off?
I don't think we need a second to pull it
Don't
off
need a second.
for discussion.
Do you need an agreement?
You've already approved the agenda.
Okay, all right, so
Well, this is the consent
we
agenda.
just pull it off?
Approve the whole entire agenda. Mr. Helms made a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. Ms. Albury seconded the motion and it was carried.
We're talking about the consent agenda.
Yes, sir, but that's part of the agenda, part of the whole agenda. So the agenda was set whenever you made the motion on item 5.
Am I missing something? I thought we've gone and pulled things off after we approve the agenda, then consent agenda is different than the agenda. Is that correct or no? So how do we undo that? I'm sorry, I'd just like to have a discussion about it. Mr. Attorney, can you help me here, please?
They can withhold it and discuss it and vote it separately. Vote on it separately, I guess, if they want to do that, but I think you would need a second to do that.
He's stating that you can pull an item off for a discussion, but we can't rearrange, I can't, do you want to explain that?
We can't vote on it right now, essentially.
Wait, would say that we can't hear you. Can you?
We can withhold it and discuss it at a later time. We can't vote on it, you know.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to discuss it anyway. So I mean, I didn't mind voting on it, but I
Okay, so we won't be
wanted
able
the
to vote
discussion
on that
about it.
tonight?
Not on that one item. If that's what he wants to do is pull it, that's fine. If you've got a second to do that, though.
So, in other words, if he wants to pull it and he gets a second, then
He needs
it's just off the agenda.
Yeah, and we can discuss it later.
Right now, I have a motion on the table, so I either need a
Okay.
second to the motion to move forward.
Or no second, and then
Or
we'll...
no second,
Right.
and then move forward with Mr. Shugarts' motion to get a second to remove that item from the agenda. I've got two motions on the table before there was a second for conversation.
So for future, I would need to
Okay.
not approve the agenda, right? And I would
All right.
just need okay.
Okay, so do we vote on the first agenda first, the first motion first?
I'm needing a second from Mr. Fowler's motion to approve the consent agenda. But before the vote, then Mr. Shugarts brought out a second.
Right,
To withhold that item, I guess.
so we'll pull that
He
item.
would need yes.
Mr. Shugarts I need a second from Mr. Fowler, first off.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Shugarts needs a second in order to pull his item
pull
off
it.
for discussion.
That's what I was asking, if he needed a second. Okay,
Yes.
he does, okay. Do we have a second on pulling the agenda, the personnel policy off the agenda? It fails lack of second. Okay. You wanna discuss it with the attorney? Huh?
In reverse. I apologize for being out of order, but this is BS.
Okay.
This is not the way you've been doing business.
Thank you, Bill. Remember that next time. Thank you. Okay,
The personnel policy.
all right. Okay, next is public hearing. And I'll ask Mike Dixon if he'll present the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, the council. We have before us a proposed annexation off of Shepherd's Road by Mr. Anthony Riccardi. He wishes to annex a 3.5 acre tract of land located on Shepherd's Road. And as of the April 11th Planning Board meeting, it was determined that we suggest that the parcel be zoned MFC multifamily cluster.
Okay,
In this, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Sure. In this zoning district, it allows for 10 units per acre, and it is almost entirely a housing zoning district. Condos, townhouses, houses, single-family homes, and duplexes are allowed in this zoning district. It is surrounded by Pender County parcel's zoned RP for residential performance, which is also a residential zoning district that's very similar to our MFC district.
Okay. Is that it?
That's all I have.
Okay. We will now go into a public hearing. Time is 6:56. Anyone wishing to speak on the public hearing, just raise your hand, please. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see Charles get up. Okay.
Hey,
Charles.
Charles Riggs, 502 New Bridge Street, Jacksonville. I submitted the application to Surf City. It is complete. We did present it to the planning board. It is 3.548 acres on Shepherd's Road. If you're not familiar exactly where the tract is, it does lie on the north side of Shepherd's Road. It's 0.4 of a mile from Highway 50 and about 0.8 of a mile from US 17. We chose the MFC, the multifamily cluster, because it most resembles the existing zoning within Pender County, the RP, residential performance. Both zones allow both single-family, duplex, townhomes, things of that nature. We did submit a map of the property. It's approximately 240 feet wide at the front, 320 feet wide at the back, about 578 feet deep. We do anticipate getting water and sewer from the town of Surf City, and I'd be glad to answer any questions or concerns you might have. I'm not aware there were any comments from
Anybody in the
adjoiners or
audience got a
anybody.
question? Did you have a question for Charles? Yes, sir. I'm John McGinnis. I live right next door to this property, and I disapprove of this annexation, so I really don't. Could you come up to this, because I'm afraid people can't hear what you're saying. I don't know where the board can.
Let me step aside.
I'm John McGinnis, and I live right next door to this property. And I disapprove of this annexation because I really don't want to be in Surf City. And if this bringing this property up, that puts me in Surf City, I'd like to make an oppose for that. My brother-in-law owns a piece next door to me, and he don't want it
Right.
annexed in.
No, you won't be in Surf City. The only thing that'll be in Surf City is what they apply to have annexed. We're not doing any involuntary annexation. You would have to choose to be annexed
Okay.
in order for us to annex you in Surf City.
Okay, thank you then.
Yes, sir. Anybody else got anything? Wait a minute.
Were there any other
Yeah, let me let
questions for
him
me?
speak first.
Okay.
Richard Bessop, 2503 South Shore. I did attend the planning meeting where this was presented, and if I'm not mistaken, he is also going to be expecting to be able to hook into our sewer system, correct?
Correct.
And as I understand it right now, that our water treatment facility is getting maxed out and is extremely taxed to where we need to do something to improve our wastewater treatment capacities before we continue to just allow everything to be annexed and hooked into our systems. We've got hundreds of houses that are already in process of being built right now, and I feel that until we address our infrastructure, that we should be a little more cautious about taking on more than we can handle.
Well, we're not, who wants to, you want to take care of that?
That piece of property, just because it's annexed, does not mean that it automatically hooks to the town water and sewer. It is a part of Pender County's water district that they have established in that area. So the property owner will have to go to Pender County and ask to be released, and that's up to Pender County if they release them or not.
But we're not, well, what I'm saying is we're not giving any connections more than what we have. We are reserving capacity, but of course, naturally, we're trying to increase capacity, and we probably will from now on. I mean, that's something that you're always trying to do. And, but we're not overcapacitated as far as our water or our sewer. We still have capacity left, but we're monitoring it close. And that's one reason we're doing, some of them, we're allowing them to hook on 10 houses at a time. If not, they would come in here and buy the whole development sewer up, and then nobody else would be able to get it. It would just be held out there in limbo. So therefore, we are watching our capacity and staying under our capacity as far as anything that we let go. Now, houses that have already been given it, in other words, that's already figured into the capacity, right? Anything that's already been let, then that's included in what they figure our capacity is. So we're not below capacity at anywhere, and we've still got some more houses to be built that has already been given capacity. So we're watching that. If somebody buys a piece of property and we run out of capacity, then they'll just have to wait until we get some capacity. Yes, sir. Come up front, please, if you will.
My name is Randy Wooten, and I live at 101 Geranium. I want to know what they're going to do with the water that comes off of this property. Right now, it's flowing right through my place. Everything that's down there comes right through my yard.
What, the water off of that property now
Yes.
goes through your yard?
Comes right down the drive, across, through my dad's yard, and through my yard.
Well, when anybody builds something in the town, all right, I tell you what, I'll let Charles answer that.
All right.
He's got the design anyway.
Yes, sir, I'll answer that. Just so everybody knows, this request tonight is just the first step in the planning process, where we annex the property and we, and the council chooses the zoning for the property. Once this is accomplished, then we sit down, we draw up plans, we'll get erosion control permits, stormwater permits, we'll evaluate the water and sewer needs, the capacities that are available, and the need that we have for the subdivision. So all those permits will be obtained to handle water just like you're talking about, the stormwater.
But, and they will be required to keep their water on their property.
That's right.
Now, they can't be required to have water that has been running across their property, but if any water that is on their property, they have to keep it on their property. Right, Charles?
That's right. And all these plans will go through planning board and council, so this will be seen numerous times. We've not determined that at this point. We are allowed 10 per acre. We've got 3.5 acres, which we equate to 35, but this property will not hold that. Okay. Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
Okay,
Thank
any
you.
other questions? Anybody else want to speak? Anybody else want to speak on the annexation? Anybody else want to speak? This time we'll close the public hearing, and I'll bring it to the board. Does anybody have a motion to make?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, raise their hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, public comment time. You got the names? Okay.
First up, I have a Miss Sally Edens of 4104 4th Street.
Mr. Mayor, I've been aware that there's been some comments made about the Dune project. This
Pull your speaker down a little bit.
can't help, I'm short.
Like you're singing or something.
You don't want that. I'd just like to thank the mayor, the town council, the town's employees for all the hard work they've done to get us back up and running as quickly as they have from Hurricane Florence. I've lived on the island for almost 30 years, and I know I don't look that old, but I am. And the recovery of this storm has been amazing compared to Hurricane Fran, who we were off for 10 days before we could even come home. And I lived on the island for 5 weeks without water after Hurricane Fran. We came back on the island after 8 days with full services, fire department, electricity, water, the whole bit. Amazing job. But people are going on TV and they're making comments that aren't really, without doing their homework. They're saying that the Dune project was poorly planned, poorly managed, but we're held to the standard of FEMA, of CAMA, DENR, U.S., and North Carolina Wildlife Association. Anything we do, we are tied by what they tell us to do. And people aren't aware of this, and it's making us look, I won't say us, it's making some of the town council members and the town itself look kind of bad because we're not moving as fast as they think we can. But we can't. It's not our problem. People need to investigate what they're trying to say. I would bet that nobody in this room would approve a project that's going to cost $5 million before they knew it was going to be paid for by the government, FEMA. I wouldn't. I don't want my taxes to go up. And that's why the project took as long as it did. That and the fact that one complaint, one silly complaint, made FEMA come back in and regroup on what they said we could and couldn't do, which meant we had to sift the sand after they said we didn't have to in the beginning. And that's why we didn't finish it, because one man had 3 steps covered up and saw some pebbles in the sand. Now that's ridiculous. People need to know what they're saying. And I commend you personally, because I've known you forever, the town council, and the town of Surf City for all their hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. Okay.
Next, I have a Mr. Peter Sloan of 502 Trellis Road.
Howdy, folks. How's everybody today?
Fine, Peter.
Hey, I might be a mirror image here of what was just said, but you guys know that I get involved at the restaurant, and I see a lot of people every day. I get to see a lot of our local residents here in Surf City. I see local residents who do not live in Surf City, but more or less hang out in Surf City. I see the homeowners that come down on the weekends. I see the homeowners that rent out their property and they stop down at Easter and they stop down at Thanksgiving to clean things up. I think in the beginning, right after the storm, people were very naive as to what the city could or couldn't do. But over this past Easter weekend, I saw a lot of people. And the overall feeling is that this Surf City has really turned the corner. We are open for business, and it's showing. The roads are clean. Public safety officers are out there on the streets. The town employees are monitoring the amount of sand that's on the roads and keeping the streets clean. And you guys have done a fantastic job, and I just want to relay that for all the people that talk to me on a regular basis. So I thought I'd be able to step in here today and say thank you to everybody. Thank you.
Next, I have a Mr. Anthony Riccardi of 1310 North New River Drive.
I'm short like her. So I just wanted to say that, I have a house in North Topsail as well, and the recovery from North Topsail to Surf City was, 2 totally different things. My house in North Topsail still, I can't put my stairs on. The dunes that they put up basically look like speed bumps. For what's been going on in Surf City, it's been a great job as far as even us getting our place open, and I see other businesses getting open, and just seeing the progress that's been made from the mayor and town council, and which police department in the situation did a tremendous job at keeping people in and letting them out and doing what they had to do to protect people from getting hurt as well. So I just want to commend everyone on the board for that. The other thing is I just want to thank town council, mayor as well for the meeting that we had yesterday on the business end of it. It was, I think it was a good meeting and had a lot to offer as far as what we're going to do with business and being able to generate business for Surf City. So I just want to thank all of you for that.
Next, we have Lee Pelon of 1201 North Shore Drive.
Most people know that Bill and I have lived on this island since 1984, part-time, full-time for the last 18 years. I'm disappointed to come to the meetings and people ask the same questions over and over, and it doesn't seem like they get an answer. I would like to see that the questions that are asked at the meetings be put in the agenda and put on your website so that people can see what the answers are to, instead of everybody coming back month after month and asking the same questions over and over. I understand we have a new code enforcement officer. Does that mean that they will work on the weekends during the busy season for the beach? You know, we have a problem with dogs that are off the leashes. People are not cleaning up after them. They're not cleaning up the litter. The glass is in lots of places. Are we going to have people on the beach this summer that are going to enforce the violations that you've put on your website? I think that a lot of times they come here, they have not seen what the violations are. Some of them are day trippers. They don't know. And I think we need to do better in making sure that maybe the rental agencies put these violations out for everybody. You know, so they want to come here for a week, they want to have fun, we want them to have fun, but we also want them to take care of the property that we call home. A lot of the things this other thing that I want to talk about, a gentleman from Raleigh rented a house down from us that has been renting from Surf City for several years. He rented the house at 1218 North Shore Drive last week, which is oceanfront. We were in the yard and he stopped to talk to us about the house, and he was telling us that the house did not have steps going down to it because of the sand dunes. He had called the rental company that he rented from, and they told him that it wasn't their responsibility that he didn't have steps. He rented it with the pictures from their website showing that steps were able to go down to the beach. I'm almost 70 years old. He said he and his wife could not go up the sand dunes because they were too close to the house. The closest access for them was our access, which is in front of us. He turned around and called this real estate company on Sunday and explained to them the situation, that he had rented it, he wanted oceanfront where he could walk out to the beach, and he couldn't do it. And he asked them, would they either put him at another house or would they give him an adjustment on this thing? I can understand if they say no 4th of July, but we're not really into the beach season yet. The woman he talked to told him that she would call him back on Monday. He didn't hear from her. So he called back and ended up talking with another lady, and she told him that told him that their website stated that they were not responsible for anything and they would do nothing for him. Now, he's told us this is his last week in Surf City because nobody cares. And it's a shame because he had rented in this area for about 3 or 4 years. He also, real quick, and I'll finish with him, he asked us why the garbage was not picked up on Wednesday. He said the little sticker in his house said garbage was picked up on Wednesday. We told him it was Tuesday and Friday for the summer session. He said, what am I supposed to do? It says Wednesday. Well, are they not going to take the responsibility and change it? He does have a vote on this island, even though he's here as a renter. He's told us what his vote was. He's not coming back to Surf City. He's going to spend his money elsewhere. Town can't survive without tourism and vacation rentals. We are driving them away if somebody doesn't take the responsibility from the top to get everybody online with the summer season coming in. Thank you.
Next, we have a Mr. Bob Pelon of 1225 North Shore Drive.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd make a challenge to all of you. Come visit North Shore, and then please listen to my comments. I've really struggled as a Christian coming here tonight and talking to you. You can't prevent people saying negative things about you, but you can prevent them from being right. Mayor Medlin, I spoke last month about complacency. I opened up my talk with I genuinely want Surf City to be successful. I say it again. My purpose was not to embarrass, defame, or slander. It was guidance. It was constructive criticism, a nudge. Surf City is complacent. Politics aside, I did it with an open heart. I had data and examples for my conclusion, and yet the responses I got from some of your council members, and with this 3-minute format as my only avenue, has led me to come back and address those comments. After my talk, one council member stated, "We just need to be more patient." I'm a little confused about their connotation of the word patience. When I witnessed the council members getting wrapped around the axle with issues of food trucks and mega debts immediately after Florence. Your council wasted valuable time and assets on these topics. For me as a property owner, it was analogous to rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic after it hit the iceberg. One of my examples I spoke about was a trash on the bridge immediately after the grand opening. I heard it was the job of the contractor or DOT to clean it once a month. Whether you like it or not, that is our bridge. That is Surf City's bridge, to keep it clean. When a family comes over the bridge and looks at the trash, they don't say, "Gosh, the DOT isn't keeping it clean." Find a solution with city workers, volunteers, or prisoners. That's basic leadership. I also heard from the council I need to be thankful that the bridge was done a year early. Great diversionary tactic to avoid the issue. I'm thankful for many things every day, but it doesn't stop me or slow me down from doing the things that I am responsible to do. I can almost anticipate the responses from the council members after I talk tonight. You don't have the big picture, or you don't have all the info. To that I would say you need to be more transparent and work on your communication skills. About 2 weeks ago, a young lady approached me while I was in my front yard. She was a little annoyed. She told me they had rented an oceanfront beach house and couldn't go to the beach and was looking for an access. I informed her what she had to do to get to the beach. She was also concerned for her family's safety because the sand trucks were speeding down the beach and North Shore while texting. Don't worry, I eased her concerns. I told her, according to the council, you just need to be more patient and be thankful the bridge is done a year early. I won't share her response. If you or any of your council members were responsible for the bridge being done a year early, I think we should be recognizing you. I really do. If you are owning the bridge being done a year early, great. You also own 5 ocean breaches on North Shore Drive after Florence, the black trash bag over the do not enter sign on Highway 210 going to the bridge. You own the issue of no beach access at high tide. You own not providing adequate parking for our visitors. You own Nelva Albury Park not open and unable to provide bathrooms and parking. You own poor communications to your property owners and business partners that rely on you. I'll take a minute. 20 seconds?
He's running the time clock.
You're running the city, Mayor.
I am running the city. Okay. I believe if you remember when I read at the beginning of the meeting that we would have an open forum and each person would have 3 minutes to speak. And I think, did you give him 3 minutes? 3.5 minutes, yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Bill Pelon of 1201 North Shore
You
Drive.
can let your brother ask the rest of the questions.
I read the May issue of the Surf City Coastal Connection. It's great. I hope there's a chance the programs and regulations will be enforced and executed. Ashley, I read your manager's minutes. I've tried for a month to get trash containers removed from 3 properties. 1 property is the city's and 2 out-of-town neighbors. I called Lydia on April 9th and was told it would be handled, and it wasn't. I went to town hall the following Monday and talked to the town manager, giving you the same addresses and information as I gave Lydia. They are still there, new ones and old ones. What did I do wrong? There's no ownership within the city. 7 or 8 years ago, when I lived on 9th Street, I kept seeing a Surf City truck going up and down each canal street each morning and never stopping. Day after day, week after week. One day I stopped the older gentleman driving the truck and asked him what he was doing. I'm looking for potholes. I saw the mayor, the former mayor, a few days later and told him what his employee told me. He said, well, he's getting close to retirement, and that's what we're having him do. What a horrible thing to do to an individual. Surely he could benefit the city by doing something else. Today, when I drive the streets in our city, I say, God, I sure do miss him. Potholes everywhere. Let me address only those up front with white or gray hair like mine. Are you willing to accept ownership and responsibility and correct the problems within our city, or are you looking for potholes to maintain your income, health, dental, insurance paid for by taxpayers until you retire? You and your predecessors own a devaluation of every square inch of Surf City property by not implementing a productive beach nourishment program years ago. No ownership of any problem or delay. It's CAMA, FEMA, DRC, DOT, the Turtles. Everyone is working hard and doing their best. The town council does not need a microphone to tell us where the problems are. They need a mirror. You have convinced me and many in this you've convinced me and many in this community that you're doing your best. That is what is so tragic. Tragic for our guests, tragic for our businesses, tragic for property owners. Let me leave on a positive note. Use the trash container example shortfall I gave you today to make each department within town hall better and more responsive. Please leave the permit office, fire department, and police department alone. They are well-oiled operations with great responsible people that communicate and execute. Chief Shanahan is a great leader, communicator, and holds his officers and employees accountable to provide safety and security for this town, its visitors and residents. They do it every second of every day, 365 days a year, trained to make a split-second decision on all types of issues, including life or death. The chief can't afford to be complacent. Leaders in this town should try to emulate him. You own those 3 departments too. Thank you for that. You need to work on all the others. If there's any oceanfront owners tonight, if you'll see me after this meeting, I'd appreciate it.
Next, I have a Mr. Daniel Blevins of 621B North Topsail Drive.
How's everybody doing? So I'm not sure about owning the potholes, but you guys own Florence, and because of you guys, my family is able to eat. My family is able to live here. You guys have done an amazing job. Mayor, you've done an incredible job regardless of what some may say, because I don't have a short-term memory, okay? I remember what it looked like when we walked out on that beach. I remember what it looked like when it looked like a lumber yard for miles. I remember what it looked like when sand covered all these community streets, and you guys have done one hell of a job, and I want to thank you for that, okay? I have read a lot of statements on social media. I've read a lot of things, and I follow the minutes of the meetings even when I'm not here, so I'm pretty well aware of what's going on. I understand we've got a mayor race coming up. In my opinion, the mayorship in this town is not a part-time job, and I'm going to be as nice as I can be about this. It's not a part-time job when you can skip some of the most fundamental meetings and some of the most important meetings we have as a town for family vacations. okay? It is a job that is, our livelihoods are on the line. Our homes are on the line. We live here. And we're not a small town community where the mayorship is just an honorary position where you get a better seating at a restaurant. You're the first line of defense when it comes to local government. You're the first line of defense with state and federal. Our island is open for business. Yeah, there's some things that we got to do and that still have to be done. But pull up the pictures, people. Please, pull up the pictures from right after Florence and tell me that these guys haven't done an amazing job. Guys, I'm proud to be a resident of this community. I serve it the best I can. Again, the mayorship to me is not a part-time job. I took issue with our delegate who was supposed to be at EOC. I had the direct line to EOC when I was at the shelter, and our delegate, from what I understand from the people in EOC, was only there a couple hours. Now, this storm was here for a couple days. And Mr. Shugart, if you could put that phone down for a second while I continue talking, if you don't mind.
Actually, I'm pulling up the letter from the EOC. By the way, I know I'm not supposed to. I'm pulling up the letter for the EOC that you're supposed to read here when we're done. That's why I'm getting it for you. So I
We're
just
not
want to.
supposed to be using our phone while we're up here.
Correct. You can post it. You can post it on your
Put your
website.
phone down, please.
You can post it on your website. So but my point is, that doesn't, you can pull up the EOC justification. That doesn't justify January 18th. It doesn't justify the several meetings that you missed before that. My point is, our community is not a part-time job. And you have done an amazing job as a councilman, and I'm going to give you credit for that. Okay, I'm not here to tear you down, but I'm here to give you the importance of this position that you're running for. And you're running for a position that our livelihoods are on the line. My children are on the line. Again, this is my time, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, sit down, please. Mr. Blevins, sit down, please.
Next, we have a Mr. David Bird of 103 Durham Avenue. Okay, next we have a Mr. Greg Miller of 110 Teachers Court.
My wife and I are full-time residents in Pirates Cove, but I'd like to defer my comments until after Mr. Kenny Woodard, who is the president of Pirates Cove, speaks about the item you passed on the consent agenda. I can reserve my comments after that.
Next, I have a Miss Laura Stanton of 2008 North New River Drive.
Good evening. I would like to talk to the council regarding the many beach accesses and missing dune signs between Lenore Drive and 9th Street. We've seen a whole lot of people walking over the dunes and destroying them. This is due to there are no signs. There are very few signs. I've seen a couple, but very few in that area. And there's no access in that area. I spoke with Ashley yesterday. She explained that CAMA has said no to rebuilding these. But I would like to ask the town board somebody needs to have a backbone and stand up to CAMA and say no. We cannot have an entire mile stretch with no access. Now, this morning I was walking my dog, and I did see that apparently a temporary access has been put up with some ropes and a sign or two that, but it's still somebody walking over the dune. I know these things are not considered dunes according to Ashley and CAMA, but again, we have to question them on this. These dunes are vitally important to those of us who live here and to everybody who owns a home in Surf City. We cannot expect in the next few weeks, as we start getting more and more and more visitors coming who frankly do not care about our dunes, and just let them continue to walk over the dunes anywhere they choose because we don't have an access for them to go to. So that is something, that's an issue we have to address right away. I also think the signs are really important, and if it means that somebody on the town council or somebody who works for the town has to go door to door with a sign and ask permission to put it on that person's private property, then that's what needs to be done. These signs have got to be put back up, and they need to be put back up before Memorial Day comes. Because Memorial Day is going to come and we're going to have thousands of people here crossing these dunes everywhere. We have spent millions of dollars to make these dunes. Do we really want them destroyed in a couple of weeks? I don't think we do. And then I also want to bring up the point of the 9th Street access. That used to be a handicapped access that you could get a wheelchair all the way up and all the way down to the beach. It has been rebuilt just with the handicap access getting up to it and then stairs going down. I witnessed a handicapped person trying to use that access last week. They needed help getting down and help getting back up. It was a big deal. And there is an ADA law, I know you're all aware of it, that says that all handicapped people must have access just as all able-bodied people do. Again, this is something that needs to be addressed with CAMA and said, hey, we have to have another handicap access. However that is accomplished, it needs to be done. Because as a family member, as someone with a family member who is disabled, that's really important. And I live just around the corner from that access, so I don't want to have to go back down to Roland Avenue to let my family member on the beach. That's not fair to me or to them. And that since that one was a handicapped access, it needs to be done. So please, somebody stand up to CAMA and say, enough's enough, we have to do this. Thank you.
All right, next we have Mr. Bobby Owens of 125 Windy Ridge Road.
Go off. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I just rise to say thank you for the National Day of Prayer service. I'd include Stephanie in that, and thank y'all for organizing that year after year. I'm proud and encouraged that we have a town that supports the national proclamation of the Day of Prayer. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for all those who were able to attend. Appreciate it. Love it every year.
Thank you for coming and giving us a prayer.
Yay. I yield back my time.
You did. You didn't talk long enough, preacher. She didn't have to.
Next, we have Mr. Jack Solak of 2408 South Shore Drive.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I had one major question today. Was about beach nourishment. And yesterday I sent out an email to all the council members and the mayor to ask somebody to tell us what's going on with beach nourishment. I've heard so many rumors that we're going to do beach nourishment, we're not going to do beach nourishment. We spend all of our money that we had set aside for beach nourishment to do sand hauling. That really bothers me. If we stop beach nourishment, we might as well just close the island. The heck with moving the town hall, just close the doggone island. We don't need to move the police department out because we won't have an island. If we don't do beach nourishment, we're gone. Anyway, I did get a response from 2 council people and the mayor that they will get somebody to talk about beach nourishment. Ashley told me tonight that she's going to give us a full report. I have one quick question, and I know you can't answer this, but can you shake your heads? Is this recorded? If it is recorded, so when can I listen to the recording? Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Okay, good. I might have to leave early, so I may miss your report, Ashley. Good, thank you. So the second part of all the rumors I hear is about sand hauling, and we had to stop because of the turtles, and that's fine. Then I heard another rumor that it was verified tonight maybe that it wasn't a rumor, that we had to stop hauling sand because of a pebble. I would be so happy if 75% of my doing was pebbles, gravel. I don't care what's in there, and it really bothers me that some CAMA person took the authority to say, stop, no more hauling.
That's about the way she said it.
And it costs over $1.3 million to sift that sand because of one stupid pebble. Why wasn't our lawyer consulted? We have a lawyer, and I hear him speak occasionally. Why wasn't he consulted and stand up for us to say, no, CAMA, there's no rule on that, we're going to go ahead? I agree with the other people here that we should stand up to CAMA and do what we have to do, what is right for us, not some politician in Raleigh. That's it.
Next, I have a Mr. Kenny Woodward of 110.
Windjammer Drive.
Okay.
Mayor, Councilman, thank you for your time today. First of all, I'd like to give a big shout out and thanks to Chad and his staff. We've had several members of our neighborhood that have addressed he and his staff in regards to crossover on the item 6 of the agenda that was approved earlier. His staff has done a great job. We appreciate you putting it on the agenda tonight. We look forward to working with the town and hoping to gain access to the beach and working with you guys. I just want to come up and say publicly thank you very much for all you've done to help our community. Thank you.
Next, I have a Mr. Greg Miller of 110 Teaches Court.
And again, to Chad and to all the people of town, we do thank you for all your efforts in the crossover, and look forward. We have about 40 houses in our neighborhood, and there's another 10 houses. One of the things in the consent agenda is saying it wasn't in the town interest to have a town crossover there, and I sort of wonder about that whenever there's town crossovers about every block through other parts of town, as well as in town on Topsail Beach, and you go to Wrightsville Beach. So I hope we work forward to remedy this situation. And again, I would like to thank all of you for your service. Being a servant leader is sometimes something that's very tough, and thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a Mr. Philip Durr of 1714 North New River Drive.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to be positive and thank Ashley for your getting the grants and all that good stuff. I know that it was your research and your diligence that got that for us, and I appreciate that. Mr. Shugarts, I'd also like to thank you for keeping me involved in city government, and hopefully maybe they will do exactly what I've asked them since the first time this council met with a new member, as I asked them to put it videotaped on the web page so we could look at it, and the people that own property that come here can look at it and see what's going on. It's a question of communication. I've heard several questions of communication tonight. Number two, I'm very upset that we're very quick to jump on Councilman Shugarts when he's out of order or he asks a question that you feel is out of order. And when you let this gentleman speak, which he has every right to speak, and address him and virtually throw darts at him, and not a one of you told him that was against the rules. It's right on the agenda. And I don't think I would be that rude to do that to any of you. I also would like to thank Teresa and Mr. Shugarts for voting against the foolishness of an 8th grade science project of trying to shovel lower to bring the sand up. It's only going to fight one thing. It's called gravity, and that's been around for a while. It's going to go right back out. since we have nothing to hold it there. Everybody knows that next month is hurricane month. Starts. We are a rudderless ship right now. I've always felt that. When a pitcher can no longer go 9 innings, we replace him with a newer pitcher. I love baseball. My point is simply this. We have to move forward. I'm not talking about any individuals here. We have to move forward in our thinking. I've heard no forecasting from any of you. If we had a contingency fund, we wouldn't have to wait for FEMA to give us money. Has anybody thought about that? That you have something in the bank and save it for a rainy day so that if we have 10 years without a hurricane, it's been building up and building up so that you can use it. Instead of waiting for FEMA, you can do it and actually we can walk and chew gum at the same time. You guys can work, they can go to Raleigh and fight like heck, right? But nobody's come up with that. It's because you're always fighting. It is so apparent. I just want to caution you, and I say this from the point of caring about this city. I don't say it out of malice. I'm asking you to work together. I truly feel if you work together between all of you with the talent that's up there, we can have an awesome city like I once knew. It no longer is. It's to the point where my wife and I have talked about moving, and we loved it here. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have a Mr. Marty Martin of 1825 North New River Drive.
Howdy. Well, they all stole my thunder. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. So I don't have to say much. One thing about the crossovers, I just talked to Chad. I really don't agree with your agenda of where we got something to say you don't answer us back, because some of these questions could have been answered tonight, but they're not. That's the way you wrote it. We've got to live with it until you change it. On a positive side, thanks, Mayor. Thanks, council people, ladies and gentlemen, for the great job you've done. I'm glad it wasn't me, Mayor, that had to make that choice of, is it going to be turtles? Is it going to be sand? A tough decision. I think you made the right choice. Hopefully, we don't have big hurricanes this year. I really think you should give Chad a chance to explain to these people, especially my heart goes out to this lady here with the walkovers, because he just told me tonight he has just got approved and they're going to start to work on 5th Street and 7th Street this week. We need to know that. These people need to know that. Not just you, these people, before they have an answer. And everybody comes out a winner. And that's what we're looking for. I love Surf City. This is my city, my town. And we have selected you people to run it and take care of it for us. So far, you've done a heck of a job. I was told one time when I first got back that this town was ran on the good old boy program. Well, for everyone that lives here and are not from the South, the good old boy program started back when neighbors helped neighbors. It's not you scratch my back for $1 and I'll give you $2. So it's not run on a good old boy program. I don't care who tells you that, who preaches it to you about what, anything. This town, this board is doing one heck of a job. I almost said a bad word. Got a preacher in the house. But you've done an outstanding job and we love it. So keep the good work up. And please again, just for this lady here, they're starting to work on the crossovers this week. Hopefully by the weekend, 5th Street will be done. to let you know that. So I worked for a gentleman one time, a long time ago. He was a great man. Fortunately, his name was mentioned tonight with the chief's, with his presentation for the chief. I worked for this gentleman. He was a great man. I loved him to death. And he loved America. And he said, not ask what America can do for you, but ask what you can do for America. So I'm asking Surf City residents, do the same thing. Go to the city, ask them, what can we do to help you get out of a bind? Because you are in a bind. Your hands are tied. The government steps in, you don't have the money. There's people say you should have money in the bank. We had money in the bank. We've gone through a lot of hurricanes. Just to let people know, Florence was the second worst hurricane to hit Topsail Island since Hazel. I was in Hazel. I'm old enough to serve at the Last Supper, so I know Hazel was bad. And Florence was, I gotta go? You kicking me out again? Okay. But I just want to say thanks a lot, Mayor. Don't put the handcuffs on me. Thanks a lot, Mayor. Thanks a lot, City Council. You're all doing a great job. We appreciate it. And remember, folks, ask what we can do for the city. God bless all of you. God bless Surf City. Thank you very much.
That it? We done, huh? Okay, let me get back to the front of my thing here. Okay, council forum, and we will start at the far end this time. Councilman Helms. Say, what does he say?
He said he's signed up.
He's already spoke, hasn't he?
He spoke during
Yeah, he spoke.
Huh? Oh, he spoke during the hearing.
He spoke on the annexation.
I
Okay.
apologize. Mr. Richard Vesson of 2503 South Shore Drive.
Thank you, Council Mayor. First of all, I would like to say thank you for allowing those of us on the island to opt out of the twice-a-week trash pickup. I know that's something that was annoying several people at the last meeting. I myself, if we weren't able to opt out for $35 a month to keep the trash off the island, I'm all for it. On that note, warehouses across the street from me still have the old trash carts, and I have called the city, and I know this was brought up earlier. They're not getting picked up. I don't know if maybe Surf City still owes the old trash company some money. We can withhold payment until they pick them up. And it's not just on, my little stretch of the beach. It's apparent everywhere out on the island that the trash carts are still left from the prior service. And also, too, Monday was pickup day for my area on South Shore Drive. And tonight when we were driving from my house to the meeting, the trash carts are still out in the right-of-way. And I know that we're supposed to get them pulled back. We have ordinances. We have things that are supposedly going to be starting to enforce that. But I love living in Surf City. I love my little piece of paradise. The trash is very disturbing because the trash cans get blown over, the trash cans get gone through, the trash cans don't get pulled back. And again, it's just like with the bridge. The tourists, the people that come and visit our beautiful city are just bombarded with trash. And we need to get it off of the streets, off of the right-of-ways, to where we can have pride in where we live. There's still a lot of construction debris that's in the right-of-ways that is not in dumpsters. I don't know what the issue is with that or how that can be remedied, but again, I love our city. I love living here. And I'd like people to come and visit to say, wow, that place really is paradise. And I think we can do better in getting this stuff off the street. I've lived here for a year and a month, and last year when I moved in, That was the one thing I noticed over the summer, the overflowing trash containers, the trash in the streets and blowing around. And I just think that, we need to address that a little more sternly with code enforcement, or just requiring houses that are not pulling them back, that they pay the extra money to have the rollback service. And with that, only because it was brought up, I reside by Pirates Cove. I'm in Maritime Plantation. Chad has proposed to allow them to build another crossover, which is your guys' prerogative. But I do want you to know that we're not keeping people from Pirates Cove from going to the beach. They have a crossover right in front of their entrance. And we also have the one at 2412, which I guess is not going to actually be rebuilt as an access, but left as a cross over the dune again. Thank you.
Is that all of them? Okay. Anybody we missed? Okay. All right. Now, Councilman Helms, go to it.
The fire department and EMS has been busy. We had 61 calls, 33 were EMS, 28 were fire. There's been a lot of training, hose testing going on, and it's not stopping. It's just continual.
I'll let you get it.
And we're staying busy. Also, I would like to wish every mother happy Mother's Day, and we won't see you again before Memorial Day, so I want to wish you a happy Memorial Day. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, Mr. Blevins, I want to apologize for looking at my phone during that. It was rude. I was actually just trying to find the letter for you. I'm actually going to get with you and send you that letter if that's okay, so I apologize. And thanks for the comment about being a council, doing good things as council. 10 years have been here, 4 children through Topsail High School. Actually, I have one in Topsail High School here. I've employed hundreds of people. This is my home. This is where I'm going to live and die, just like all of you. I love Surf City. Seems now that when I'm running for mayor, it's now a personal thing, it seems like, to a lot of you. And so, I'm just saying, I'm not saying you, I'm just saying, my feelings, it's, this is important, it's critical, it's even urgent, but it's not personal, if that makes sense to you. All those are components of this process. I believe Doug loves the island as much as I do. Actually, I believe Doug loves the island more than me because he's older than me and he's been here longer than me. It's not a bad thing, but he loves the island, undoubtedly. We had coffee and he talked about riding a duck through the intercoastal, okay? He has passion for this place, and there's no doubt about that. And you'll never hear me doubt that process. I just want to make sure everybody understands that, okay? But perception is everything. If I go out of here tonight and say, Anthony, the sky is so blue, and you say it has a tint of green, and I say, no, it's blue, and you say it has a tint of green, it doesn't matter what I say, I'm not going to change your mind. And that is the greatest thing about, we have the right here to all say what we want to say and disagree. Like Marty here, doesn't like me. He had his birthday party. I didn't know he was 80. I thought he was 60, I swear. My father goes to his birthday party. Yeah, excellent, okay. So my father and I are in Georgia today. My father goes to his birthday party. And my stepmom go to his birthday party. He tells me, yeah, my dad says, the guy's a nice guy, he's old as dirt. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Okay. But the thing is, one of the things I want to do is not keep things personal at this stage here. I want to make sure, for example, we have a manager council form of government. Ashley's in charge of the city, okay, because the council appoints her. The mayor is a part-time position. However, you're right. It takes a lot of time. I'm never going to make excuses, ever going to make excuses for being in Arkansas at my son's graduation for the military and missing a council meeting. Ever. Family first for me. I'm never going to, and I think you can all agree to that, okay? Family is first for me. Okay, I'm never going to make an excuse to go to D.C. with my son if he's in the military for some event there. I'm not going to make those excuses, okay? And so those are important things to me in my life. And I have 6 children, and so I'm going to miss things because that is the most important thing to me. And I don't believe anybody would do those things. So I just want to say, I value when every one of you can complain against me, you can say I'm an idiot, I'm a jerk, but at the end of the day, I love Surf City and I value what you have to say. I may not agree with it, but that's okay. I want the same thing you want. So anyway, that's what I want to say tonight. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Nelva. No, we can't. No. Okay, all right. Nelva R. Albury.
I am so glad
And that R is tough.
to see all of you, to hear all of you, one way or the other, good or bad. I enjoy hearing it. And I thank God for all of you. And I want to tell you first, though, we are trying to do the best we can. We cannot help it. FEMA's got rules, and they're over us. And don't nobody forget it. Their rules are going to be done. They'll shut your butt down in a minute. So we're doing the best we can. And we're going to get the sand haul back. I don't know just when. Maybe Doug does. But go with us and follow along with us. If you see a piece of trash, pick it up. And we would appreciate it so much. And I just want to wish all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Buddy.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. I appreciate all the comments that was made, those positives as well as those that are negative. Everything is always a work in progress, as you know. Some things get done a little quicker, some things don't. Some of the things you've brought up tonight would certainly need to be looked into and see if we can't expedite some of those, especially about the trash cans. The other thing that we've got, as Ms. Albury mentioned, we have guidelines and stuff that we can go. Some of you also mentioned the fact about having a contingency fund. We have all those things. And one of the things that some of you heard me say before, and I know it's a bad topic to talk about. We being the town of Surf City can afford anything your pocketbook can pay for. By that I mean, when you talk about wanting this and wanting that, we're talking about taxes. Quite frankly, this council has never wanted to, does not like to raise taxes. If you go back and look at our history, we have not done that. But we've tried to provide the most service we can with what we have and what we have available. And we have restrictions put on us by the federal. We cannot trump the federal government. The federal government trumps us. State trumps us. We would love to be able to have our lawyer, and he would concur with this, I'm sure, to stand there and say, we disagree with you, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. And the federal government will say, that's great. We'll sue you, we'll fine you, and we'll take you, and they will, and they have. All of these things that we have and guidelines we follow, it was also mentioned about the money. Don't go ahead and spend the money. But we have built up reserves in our beach renourishment to be able to do this, or we wouldn't have had the money to do this. We wanted to make sure we could get reimbursed from FEMA. Now, and that followed along, folks, right now some of the people are getting reimbursed from Matthew. Look how long ago that was. FEMA has just reimbursed that. So we're talking about existing and surviving during this period of time before the reimbursement takes place. So it is a critical component to be able to be reimbursed. It's a critical component to be good stewards of your money, which I think this council has done. And again, any comments you have, stand up. I will defend your right. I've already defended the country, served this country, as Mr. Stewart has over here, many years. Give you the opportunity to say that and state your opinion. And I think that's what this council does. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, we want to hear it. I want to hear it anyway. And I appreciate you coming. I appreciate everyone who's taking the time out of their day. And for you ladies, have a great Mother's Day and the best of Mother's Day and a safe Mother's Day. Thank you.
You through?
I'm just getting started.
I thought you were going to take up a collection or something. All right.
Okay.
Sometime we save the diamonds for last, right?
Oh,
okay.
So I am personally very thankful to all the residents that come here, take their time to share their concerns, good, bad, ugly. That's what we're here to, we're here to listen. We're here to make changes. A lot of things of what Buddy just mentioned, I would probably have said the same as far as our funds and so forth, how they are there, but we want to make sure that we do get reimbursed from FEMA. It is very important that we take that in consideration when it comes to following the proper procedures. Also this morning, we met with, at our Kiwanis meeting, Pender County Commissioner David Williams was there. He gave us an economic update on the county. He said that many of you probably received your tax assessments over the last weekend. Some went down, some went up. If you do not agree, please take note, send in your response to Pender County. They are eager and willing to listen to everyone, debate, good, bad, ugly. But he did said, if it was lowered, don't call us. Thank you to all the business owners that came out to the luncheon yesterday. It was a positive event. Most local business owners have said how much they appreciate what the town has done for them, how busy they are, how this has probably been their busiest season so far in many years. Thank you, Doug Medlin, for serving us out of your pocket dinner, lunch yesterday. And then one other thing I do want to mention, we lose very valuable people to our community to death all the time. Last month we lost a legend. We lost a very respected developer, and I just wanted to give my sincere condolences to his family. Mr. D.C. Lanier, his family, he's been here for a very long time. He's raised his family and his grandchildren, great-grandchildren here, and he will be dearly missed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, well, sitting here, I knew we were talking about being here a long time and all that stuff, and I've been here since before Hazel. That was 30 years ago. What? No, maybe it was more than that. But anyway, yeah, 54. But looking here and seeing Mr. Nolly, I'll tell you what, Mr. Nolly, we appreciate you being here. I'm going to tell you what, now he has served our town for a long time. He has done a lot of work with us. He was sort of our backbone during several hurricanes, right, Bob? We had a few, we sure did. But he has really served Surf City, and we appreciate you being here tonight. Sure do. What is that? We sure will. Will you do that, please? I'll sure do that, yes. And, all right, Mr. Nolly, you said we don't answer the questions. I'm going to try to answer a few of them. I think, and I'm talking to Bob and Bill, and I've been knowing Bill a long time, and like he said, but we believe in keeping a surplus of funds. And the money that we're spending for sand is coming out of our beach nourishment fund, which we have enough saved up in the beach nourishment fund to do the beach nourishment project that we're doing this fall. But now we did use some of the money until we get our FEMA money out of that project. But I don't know about you, but I know Bill would a whole lot rather use somebody else's money for something than he had his. Is that not right, Bill? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so what we are trying to do, And I always believe if there's grant money out there, or if there's free money that is from emergency funds, I believe in using that money. And that's the very reason that we waited until we knew that FEMA would declare it a FEMA project before we started the process. So that's one reason that it was delayed as long as it was. You know, I'd hate to spend $5 million of your tax dollars and when we could do it with somebody else's money. It's called other people's money. But anyway, and one thing you're right, Bob, we probably did spend too much time on food trucks and mega decks, but our citizens were divided into two ways. So we definitely wanted to take time to listen to everybody and get everybody's opinion. I think, of course, there's still a little bit going on with the mega decks. Of course, there is no such thing as a mega deck, right, Bill? But anyway, they're just regular decks. But anyway, let's see. Clean the bridge, we are working on a process for that. But I did walk the bridge last night with my daughter and my granddaughter, and we picked up all the big sticks that I could see at that time, and some other, a hat, some other stuff. But then I went back this morning, there was another piece laying up there. So, you know, you can't keep it clean all the time. But I'll let you explain that anyway, what process we're doing for that. Or you want me to do it? Anyway, well, what she's planning on doing, she's working with the state. State said that they would clean it once a month. We say, well, why don't you clean it twice a month, and then we'll deal with the same contractor to clean it 2 more times a month, so it's cleaned every week, basically once a week. Let's see. Oh, prisoners, Lord have mercy. How many prisoners you see out working on the side of the road now? They don't believe in getting out and working in the heat and all. They got to stay in that air conditioning. So it's hard to get. I don't know if we can we get prisoner labor at all anymore? No. It would be a good idea, but I don't think we can get them to do that anymore. Texting, we do need to know about that, and if you let that policeman right over there know about it, Chief Shanahan, they take care of people texting and driving, right? That is illegal. Yes, sir. Huh? I know. Well, that's what I'm. No, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But we need to know about that, and I would be very upset. I would be very upset if I saw them doing it too. And so we do need to know about it. That's what I'm saying. But if you will let the police know about it, and then at least they can be watching for it. I don't know whether they can use it off of your phone or not. I don't know that much about the police department, but we appreciate you bringing it to our attention. And the Nelva Park, they were using that as a sifting station, and they just got through with that. Chad got a $100,000 grant. Where'd Chad go? Anyway, he got a $100,000. Oh, right there he is, light blue. Anyway, he got a $100,000 grant to rebuild Nelva or Albury. Plus, once again, FEMA is supposed to put that parking lot and all that back in the same shape that it was when they started there. So that comes along. Let's see. Handicap access, we do need handicap access, but now what FEMA approves for handicap access now, Chad, are you listening to me, is the Hatteras ramps, right? Huh? So how many Hatteras ramps have we got going in? 3 or possible 4, but that's what they consider handicap access now, which is just it's like a wooden ramp going over to the beach. So we are working on that. Beach nourishment, she's going to cover. let's see, and Marty, you didn't see it, but I did put a thing on Facebook about the crossover, when it would be repaired. And, yes, sir, you didn't see it, but thank you, you're welcome. But anyway, and then, okay. Anyway, appreciate all of you coming, and I think I've run my mouth enough. I've talked a lot more than the preacher did tonight, and that's doing good. What else?
I forgot something.
You forgot something. Can't believe that. You're not that old.
It's okay.
Okay.
One important thing I forgot. James Horn, which is working with the emergency, he is the emergency management director. We met with the town departments. We debriefed after the storm again. Each department did. Just want to let you know of what our progress has been, or that James has done, along with the departments over the last couple weeks. We've been approved to apply for the Duke Energy's NC State grant. The town of Surf City has been recognized by the National Weather Service as a Storm Ready Nation Ambassador. We are getting ready to host our first Preparedness Day event, which will be a public outreach effort that will provide information to the community members on way to become storm ready. The official date will be announced soon. They are also working with the Hampstead AMS Amateur Radio Club to establish a formal auxiliary communications agreement between the club and the town, not only for hurricanes, but for any type of incident that we may need their service. And they're also planning has begun on the Independence Day celebration. And so he's been very busy in getting this Preparedness Day work for us. So soon we'll be getting a lot more updates from James, and we appreciate his hard work along with all the other departments. And just for our trash pickup, there is a street sweep this coming Saturday, and we'd love to see you out there helping us clean up the town. Thank you.
Thank you. You sure you're through?
Two-timer, I'm done.
Okay, we're going to turn this over to our town manager now.
Okay. Yes, as Teresa mentioned, street sweep is this Saturday at 9 o'clock. If you'd like to participate, we encourage you to do so. Please meet at Soundside Park. Also, please remember that all staff from each department is here an hour before the meeting. So if you have questions or concerns, definitely please come and ask us those questions and concerns. Do not wait to ask those, to council. We can give you those answers. So that's what we're here for. Beach nourishment update. Just to kind of get some clarity, first of all, there's been some miscommunication that's been put out there on our beach nourishment, as well as the sand haul. The sand haul project, we started that project as quickly as we could. We had to clear all debris, all sand, everything that Hurricane Florence gave us, we had to clear out of those right-of-ways, which we started to do shortly after Hurricane Florence came and went. We did that up until the end of December, beginning of January. Once that was finished, council had to come together to figure out what we were going to do. Were we going to haul sand? Were we going to push sand? A combination of both, whatever the case may be. But decisions had to be made, as well as waiting for FEMA to see what they would possibly reimburse us for. There is a process for that. Once that decision was made, the contract had to go out for bid. We have state and federal procurement laws that we have to follow, and it takes time, unfortunately. So that also delayed us. So once we started the sand haul at the beginning of March, CAMA came out, as those have spoken. We had a complaint from a citizen, which caused CAMA to come out and do an inspection of the sand that was in front of their home, and they did. They found a few pebbles. When I say a few pebbles, there were 15 feet of sand they dug, and they found 18 pebbles. We got a cease and desist order because they found those 18 pebbles. Out of approximately 80+ thousand cubic yards of sand, they have accumulated about 30 yards of debris that was in that sand. So
160,000 cubic yards they come up with.
that was total sand to go out there on that beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, needless to say, there was not a whole lot of debris in that sand. However, we were still required to sift the sand. So, the contractor was scheduled to be finished with our sand haul approximately the last week, or the second to last week of April. The sifting is what put them behind. We requested, relief from that, and they would not give it to us. They required us to still sift. Once we got closer to the end of the project and we knew turtle season was upon us, we had a smaller portion of the beach left to do, and our beach engineer requested an extension through U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They were not having it. They did not want to give us an extension. We discussed back and forth with them for 2 days straight, trying to get them to understand where we were coming from. We even brought Miss Jean Beasley in to let them know of the things that she was going to do to protect the sea turtles. That still didn't help. So, ironically enough, when we were waiting for an answer that evening, a sea turtle came up on the beach. I believe it's the first sea turtle that they've had in Surf City that early. So it's kind of ironic that that happened, but nonetheless, we were not able to move forward with the sand haul. So, moving forward, our plan, we're picking back up where we left off prior to Hurricane Florence in our private project. We have the permitting process that is going on. Chris Gibson with TI Coastal, he's the beach engineer. He is diligently working on that, as well as the application for additional funding to help us with this project through the Shallow Draft Inlet Fund. We are anticipating, it's not set in stone, we're anticipating that project, the private project, should start fall of 2019. So pretty much that's after the turtle season is over. Our thought process behind that is everybody needs protection. So if we're going to spend money, why not spend it and start our private project so that everybody is protected? That's pretty much the gist of it all. Did I leave anything out?
No.
Okay.
Like I say.
That's all I got.
Of course, we are dealing with the government on everything. And she has done a good job, and you were talking about bringing attorneys in. Yes, we did bring attorneys in, but Washington, for some reason, has more attorneys, and Raleigh has more attorneys than Trey can handle. So, yeah, and I got pretty upset at some of those people anyway, but I was nice, wasn't I?
You did good.
I didn't talk like it, but I was nice. But anyway, now we're going to turn it over to Mr. Trey Carter. Have you got anything?
Mr. Mayor, nothing at this time.
Nothing?
No, sir.
All right. Has anybody else got anything for the good of the town? Okay, I was talking, this is time for to council is what I'm talking about. I know you're shaking your head, but everybody wants us to follow Robert's Rules of Orders, and Robert's Rules of Orders does not allow that. So, which do you want me to do? Okay. All right, but she's welcome to come up and speak to us as soon as it's over with, okay? All right, thank you. All right, if nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion